I just paid $170 for all 3 of these mowers off of Facebook Marketplace. I'm gonna try and get them all running, make sure that they can all cut grass, and then see if we either made money or lost on this deal once we can sell them all back on Facebook Marketplace. Right off the bat, I can tell that this has a broken pull string, that's missing an air filter, and this doesn't have front tires or a battery. So let's dive in, see what else these things need to get back to functionality, and see if we can either make money or lose money on this Facebook Marketplace deal. Let's get into it. All right, first off, we've got this Husqvarna Kohler 602 1P, which is a 149cc. And now I'm gonna have to pull this pull string assembly apart. I don't see any fuel in it, which might actually be a good thing, because when fuel sits in these things, the carbs get kind of gummy. Well, I can't even tell if it's seized or not without the pull string, so why don't I go ahead and pull this assembly apart and we'll get this fixed first. All right, let's see if we can get this cover off of here. Is it seized? No. Nice. So I'll probably keep this handle, but let me see if I could find some string that could replace this one. So I got this apart, and unfortunately this little piece is broken off of the spring. So I need to try to bend part of this that's left in the spring without having this all explode in my face to fit into a notch that's inside of here so that it can actually be a spring. So let me try and do that. Oh no! Now we gotta wind all this back up. Hold on. Okay, that spring exploded on me, but I figured out how to get it all back together. Now we've got ourselves a pull string. So let's get that onto the mower. I pulled it in under here because it started dumping rain, but it does spin. So fingers crossed it was just the pull string that all this thing needed. That would be amazing, because that only took me like half an hour to tinker with all this. All that work, and I didn't even get one pull. Pull the string out of here. So we got to get this spring into this little compartment area. If I just start the hook on its little notch right in here, and then just start to weave it in like this, that the plastic kind of keeps it all together rather than me trying to hold it with my thumbs. And then it's not so bad. Look at that, spring reassembled in no time. Since I already bent back this piece, this should grab this little notch that's in here. Yeah, now I'm gonna rotate it 3, 4, 8, 9. I'm going to try and line up this shot through the hole with the hole that's in the plastic, which is right there. Grab these, pinch that off, so that now I don't have to like try and hold that in place. Pull that through. Tie a quick little knot, just enough that'll keep it from going through the hole that you have here in the plastic. Now you can hold on to this, let go of these, and then kind of under tension slow release this back in. And now you've got a fully functional pull string again. So let's go put this back on the motor. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. The string's not strong enough. All right, well, I broke so many of the string iterations that I think it's actually the quality of the string itself. So I'm gonna head to the hardware store and go pick up some actual like pull string that's got a heavier tensile strength for this project. So I was on my way to the hardware store and look what I found on the side of the road. It's like a little tiller. And guess what? This thing also has pull string issues or something, but dude, free on the side of the road. We're gonna add that into the mix. Sweet. All right, I ended up getting this diamond braid rope rather than the nylon. There was a bunch of nylon, but the nylon said 35 pound strength and this says 70. So maybe it's twice as good. It was only like 12 bucks for this big roll of 50 feet, so that should do. Okay, now we've got the upgraded string on here with the higher tensile strength, so hopefully this holds if there's nothing else that I'm missing. Finally get to start pulling on this thing. All right, let's see if she runs. So we have spark, we have compression, it's all good. No fuel delivery, so let's just see if we're getting gas to the carb or if it's actually something that's plugging up the carb. And since we're dealing with gas now, I think I will throw on some gloves. Okay, let's get this cover off of here. So let's just check really quick, since this fuel line looks so old and cracked. I think that should be replaced. And if I remove it from the tank, I'll see if we have fuel flow in the same effort. Let's quickly change this fuel line here while we can. Oh, I hate when people put the grabbers on the wrong side of things. Let's see if I have this. I think pretty close. It'll either last a little while or it won't. This hose had a little 90-degree bend in it, so that's better that way. This is such a low pressure fuel system that honestly, without these clips, the amount that has tension is probably fine. Let's crack this bowl open and make sure that there's nothing junky in there. Clean this jet out, it looks pretty plugged. I went and blew compressed air through the rest of all of this too, so it should be okay. Let's put it back together. All right. Well, she was doing good until she wasn't. Now I wonder if we got a spark issue. dirty, but should be all right. So for some reason this thing's running good until it gets warm and then it's dying off. So it's got to be something to do with like the choke or the way that it's operating its air intake, because it's getting fuel, it has spark and compression. So it's got to be something to do with air. I'm gonna tie off the hand so that it keeps running and then see if I can see something weird. So I ended up ordering a carburetor for this because it's obviously got either a fuel delivery or a choke issue, because you could see that I could run it at a certain choke, but that it's having trouble really navigating. Like when it eventually goes full choke off, that's when it's dying out. So I think a carburetor is worth it on this one. It was only like $20. So that's in the mail coming here. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bit of a delay. I can already tell on this one that all of these little pull cables are gonna be pretty tough to free up. Okay, so this will run on starting fluid. I don't really care about these and they're not really the big money makers. So I think I'm just gonna make the executive decision to switch to this. This was really the main deal out of all this stuff. If I can get this to run, this is where I'll make any money on this anyway. Those, 20 bucks, get some money back kind of thing, and then focus on this. I've already got wheels, tires, and a battery for it. Let's put that together, because if I can get this going, I'm much more stoked on that. And then this is kind of like the freebie that I didn't expect, whatever. All right, we got new wheels, we got a new battery. Let's just see if this thing runs. This is kind of the big ticket item, so fingers crossed it's okay. That's what I'm talking about. Does it move? Oh! Now, do the blades work? Sweet. All right, well, we got a functional motor. That's fantastic, because these things are worth a pretty penny. Let's see why this doesn't want to spin. Oh, the belt's off. The belt is off of the pulley. There we go. That's not moving anything either. Maybe it'll engage the blades at all time, but let's see what happens here. Yeah. Yeah, so I gotta get the blades to be able to disengage so that the motor can start and then pick up speed. Okay, so I figured out some stuff on this. The tension, it can be adjusted on this bracket here. These two 10 mils move this bracket forward and back, which adjusts how much this cable, which is operated by that lever, brings tension onto the belt there. So that loosened that up a fair amount. It still kind of grabs a little bit, but it's much less. So I think that's fixed. We can give this some test runs. Let's rip it around the yard and mow some grass. So I ended up selling that red mower because I didn't feel like waiting on those cables and an additional carburetor, so I sold it for $20. And just as an extra bonus, let's take a look at this thing. Let's throw some carb cleaner down the choke and see if we can get this thing to bark at all. Now, really quick, let's make sure it rotates. Does it rotate? Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yummy. These little sewing needles are doing a great job of actually getting these things clear. Look at that, back in business. I'd say that works. All right, so a quick tally shows that the initial investment of $170, then I bought $12 worth of string, $120 worth of wheels and tires for the riding mower, a $60 battery for the riding mower, then that $20 Husqvarna carburetor brought the total debt to $382. But then I sold that $20 red mower that I didn't feel like finishing, the $120 tiller, which brings us to just $242 in the red. We still have the riding mower and the orange Husqvarna push mower. So let's see how far we can get those to go on Facebook Marketplace and see if we can make more than $242 and try to get into the green. Okay, great. So the new carburetor solved the running issue on this Husqvarna. We can go ahead and get photos, get it online, see what we can get for it. I'm thinking maybe like $100, $150, and that should get us closer to clearing that debt. And then hopefully this big riding mower is the big ticket item. Oh, let me show you something else that I fixed on the riding mower. So you might have noticed in some of the other shots where I had to like kind of lift the whole hood off, and that was because this plastic piece that this hinges on down here had cracked off. I don't know why they made it out of plastic, but it's what makes it so that this whole assembly up here can hinge off of this, and it's held in by 2 bolts here and 2 bolts over here. That had cracked along this edge where you see all the JB weld. I put a piece of metal there and on the other side as well to act as reinforcement, and I just JB weld the whole crack. It seems to be holding up pretty good, as you can see. Now this whole thing hinges, and I was able to get the headlights plugged in, and those are working again too. All right, well, I ended up selling that orange push mower for $150, which brought my debt down to just 92 bucks. Then today, finally, we sold the riding mower, the big John Deere. What do you think it fetched? $800 in the bank. That brings our grand total to $708 profit in the green. So, not too bad. It's a lot of work, but it could be a decent side hustle if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Oh no. That's out of the bag. Damn.